Topic number 2. The 4 popular models of disability. Input. In the previous activity, you listed down your and other people's ideas and concepts of disability as well as their sources and influences. From the early times up to the present, our views of disability and persons with disabilities have been shaped by many factors, like concepts of ableism, media, culture, and religion. Let us discuss the 4 popular models of disability and how they support or not support the empowerment and participation of persons with disabilities. 1. Charity model. How does it view disability? Poor people. We should help them if we can and want to. Some of the characteristics of charity model are the following. A. People with disabilities are seen as objects of pity, living sad and tragic lives, and passive recipients of care. B. Everything is based on the goodwill of charitable people and organizations. C. The duty of the government to support empowerment and participation of persons with disabilities like everybody else in society is often not fulfilled. Examples. 1. Sad images of children with disabilities are used to get donations. 2. A local government unit distributing assistive devices like wheelchairs to persons with physical impairment without consulting them and properly assessing the requirements on the type of wheelchair that they will use. Organizations of persons with disabilities are also not part of the consultation and distribution process. 2. Medical model. How does it view disability? Poor people. We should fix them so they can participate. Some of the characteristics of medical model are the following. A. People with disabilities are seen as sick people, patients, and not normal. B. People must be fixed or cured of their impairments or look as not as disabled as possible before they can participate in society. C. Oftentimes, the medical professionals and families are in charge of their lives and not the persons with disabilities themselves. Examples. 1. Persons with psychosocial disability are forced to take medications and be institutionalized. 2. A couple with disabilities is advised not to have children because they may inherit their impairment and life would be harder for the family. Some of the consequences of the charity and medical models are the following. A. Stigmatization. People with disabilities are further viewed and treated as unfortunate individuals, incapable of being productive and contributing to society. B. Submission or disempowerment. People with disabilities are deprived of choices, exercise decision-making and support required, and take charge of their lives. C. Forced institutionalization and segregation. They are seen as burden and unable to live, study, and work in the community. Their perceived abnormality is used to justify having institutions, special schools, and sheltered workshops. D. Dependence. People with disabilities will have to rely on what people can and want to give. E. Low self-esteem. People with disabilities feel inferior to people without disabilities, which most likely puts them in isolation and not assert their rights. F. Optional benevolence instead of state obligation and enjoyment of rights. Programs and services are not supportive of empowerment and sustainable. 3. Social model. How does it view disability? We need to eliminate the barriers to enable the participation of persons with disabilities. Some characteristics of the social model are the following. A. The problem is the presence of attitudinal and environmental barriers in society that prevent people with disabilities from living a life of dignity and independently like everybody else. B. The impairment or features of the body are not the problem. C. The government has a primary duty to eliminate the barriers and facilitate inclusion of people with disabilities. Examples: 1. Regular conduct of learning sessions on how to include and properly interact with persons with disabilities in all activities to new and current members of ENET Philippines. 2. Having Filipino Sign Language interpretation inset in news programs to provide the deaf with access to information on current events. 4. Rights-based approach or human rights model. How does it view disability? We, persons with and without disabilities, are part of the same society, and we have the same rights and obligations. While the rights-based approach is similar to social model in terms of looking into the barriers and eliminating them, the former further recognizes and emphasizes the following. A. Embraces the realities of having an impairment. Having an impairment is part of human diversity that the government has to recognize. People may have similar impairments, but their accessibility and support requirements, as well as will and preferences, are different from one another. B. Autonomy and active participation of persons with disabilities. People with disabilities are exercising their right to choose. There are options to choose from, and the support required to make and carry out these decisions is available and provided. Persons with disabilities are able to actively participate in discussions and decision-making in their household and in the community. C. Equality doesn't mean treating everyone the same. Providing equal opportunity means having equitable access to specific support each person with and without disability may require. D. Placing the accountability to governments to act. Steps must be taken to promote, protect, and ensure the enjoyment of persons with disabilities of their rights like everybody else. Reporting to the UN the status of their implementation of the UNCRPD, and actively involving people with disabilities through their representative organizations in all discussions and decision-making bodies. Examples: 1. A family member who is blind is co-organizing their family reunion together with their other relatives, making sure that all activities are inclusive and enjoyable to them, including to the members with disabilities. 2. The Public Transportation Department is actively involving organizations of persons with disabilities in the formulation and dissemination of policy guidelines on accessible public transport. Learning activity number 2. Here is a table containing 2 situations. Let us analyze them and supply the intervention based on the 4 models of disability. First column contains the situation. Columns 2 to 5 contain each of the following models: charity, medical, social, and rights-based. Situation number 1. An older woman with low vision and hard of hearing. Situation number 2. LGU Livelihood Program. Compare your answers to the guide answer key. Note that the guide answer key is not exhaustive. After comparing your answers, reflect on the following. 1. How does this topic impact your view of disability? 2. What are the approaches you are currently applying in your work? Your current view of disability may or may not be aligned to the human rights model or rights-based approach to disability, but it is not too late to learn, unlearn, and relearn. By continuing on this course, you will be more aware and equipped to share and practice the rights-based approach to disability.